Hello, hello. Good morning, guys. Welcome back. Seniors, last video today. I know that's exciting. This is the last chance you're going to have to hear me. I'm going to miss you guys. Thank you for powering through. I will see you at graduation. Hopefully we get to have one. And good luck next year. You other folks, we got one more week, but we got this. Last video of the week, guys. We are just going to be doing more practice of what your homework that was due today was. So 1 over 2n plus 1 equals 2 over n. So remember, we got to figure out what's going to cancel the denominators. And remember, you don't duplicate. So we need to get rid of this 2 and an n. And some of you did a good job of putting everything up top. Again, you don't have to if you can do it in your head, but it'll help some of you see what cancels. So 2n cancels with that, you're left with 1. Nothing cancels here, so you're left with 2n. And this one, the n's cancel, and you're left with 2 times 2 is 4. Again, that's what you guys did on the homework due yesterday, and we're just solving for n now. So we got 2n equals 3, divide by 2, and we get 1.5. So I don't care if you guys put it as a decimal or leave it as a fraction. Whatever works for you. Just be able, I'm not going to put both on the answer key. So be able to check your work if it's right. Okay? So that is our first one. We've got 4 examples today. And they get a little harder as we go along. Let's see, number 2. We've got 5 over x minus 2 plus 4 over x plus 2 equals 1. So again, we've got to figure out what we need to cancel out. We need to do an x minus 2 and we need to do an x plus 2. Okay, so guys, you cannot just add these. We got to get common denominator, or we're canceling them out. So x plus 2 goes up there. X minus 2. What am I doing? I'm trying to do it in my head, and that's not smart. X minus 2, x plus 2. Okay? So now we're going to see what cancels. The x minus 2's cancel, and you're left with 5x plus 10. Over here, your x plus 2's cancel, and you're left with 4x minus 8. Don't forget this distributes into both. Over here, nothing cancels, but it's a 1. It's the difference of 2 squares there, so we get x squared minus 4. So again, that's not so bad. We got rid of the fractions, and now we're just going to solve. The x squared over here is positive, so I'm going to leave it over there. Let's combine our like terms here. We got 9x plus 2 equals x squared minus 4. Need to get this quadratic equal to 0, so I'm going to minus 9x, and I'm going to minus 2. So x squared minus 9x minus 6. Now, normally we try to factor. If you guys look at that, we got 3 and 2, won't work. 6 and 1 won't work. It will not factor. So guys, you can do either quadratic formula, or you can use your calculator and solve by graphing. Whatever works for you. Remember, if you do quadratic formula, you would do opposite b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. 2 negatives make this 81 plus 24 over 2. And then 81 plus 24 is what? 105. Is that what you guys said? Yep. So you can leave it like that. You can simplify it further, or you can also use the grapher. Remember, this will give a parabola, and then you can see where it crosses. Your decimals would be negative 0.62 and 9.62. Okay? Again, on your homework, I believe I leave it in radical form. Okay? So, again, I don't care. Whatever works best for you. All right. Halfway done. All right, so hopefully you guys took some good naps yesterday with the yucky weather. Did have a nice weekend though. Saturday was awesome.
Meteorologist?
Yes. I have some fans in the house and I am a meteorologist. Here we go. 4x squared minus 24x over 3x squared minus x minus 2 plus 3 over 3x plus 2 equals negative 4 over x minus 1. All right. Now we got one we got to factor. Okay, so we got to factor this first to figure out from there. It's going to be a 3x. And guys, it's a good guess to look at the other factors in the denominators, and that should help you. So let's see, we got 2 and 1. So let's try this, the 2 with that and the 1. If we use the same signs, we've got inside is 2x, negative 3x. Does that give us our negative 1x? Yes. So there are our factors. Okay. So we need to multiply everything by the common denominator, which would be 3x plus 2 and x minus 1. 3x plus 2, x minus 1, 3x plus 2, x minus 1. All right, now let's see what cancels. This first one, everything cancels, so that makes it nice for us. So we're left with this, 4x squared minus 24x. Over here, our 3x plus 2's cancel. We need to distribute. That gives me 3x plus 3. Again, don't forget, it goes to both. All right, last one. X minus 1's cancel. And then we've got negative 12x minus 8. All right, we got another quadratic. So what do we need it to be equal to? Good, 0. I heard that somewhere. So let's combine like terms before we start moving this stuff over. We've got 4x squared. 24 take away 3 is going to be negative 21x minus 3. Okay. And then we are going to add this 12x over and add this 8 over. So our quadratic we get is 4x squared minus 8x plus 5. That's not right. It should be a 9. My bad. Okay. Now, again, you can solve this by graphing it. You can solve it by quadratic formula. I will tell you this is factorable. And I want to just kind of show a way to factor, just to throw it out there instead of guessing and checking. Some of you may have done it before. It's called factoring by grouping, okay? You don't have to know this, I'm just showing it to you. So, what you do for grouping is multiply the inners and the outers, and you get 20, okay? So then you try to figure out two numbers that multiply to give you 20 and add to give you negative 9, kind of like we do in regular factoring. So that would be negative 5 and negative 4, right? Those multiply to give you 20, add to give you negative 9. So what you're going to do is substitute these in place of negative 9. 4x squared minus 5x minus 4x plus 5. Again, I'm just showing you grouping. It's a different way instead of guessing and checking. Then you just group it. Grouping it by the GCF. If you look at this first group, what can you pull out of that? An x. Good. So I'm going to pull an x out. You can't pull anything out of 4 and 5. So 4x minus 5. Now, this is pretty darn close to that. The signs just need to be changed. So what do we need to pull out if we need the signs to change? A negative 1. And then it changes the signs. And when you group, guys, these parentheses should match. Because now you group again. This is one answer. 4x minus 5. And here's your other, the leftover pieces. X minus 1. So I'm just showing you a way to factor. It's called factoring by grouping. For all of you wonderful children who want to look that up, you just group it. Okay, and this works. It works if it's factorable. I like it sometimes because it's just bam, bam, bam. It's not so much guess and check. But if you look at this, we needed 4x. There we go. We needed positive 5. Here we go. The inners and the outers give us our negative 9. Okay? So that's just something, a little side note for you. A little going away present for you seniors. So we get 5 over 4 and 1. Now, if you look back at the original problem, guys, you cannot have which answer? Good. You cannot have 1. That is extraneous. Because you have this in the denominator. 1 take away 1 is 0. So you always got to check. The other ones, sorry, I forgot to mention that, but the other ones didn't hurt. So the only answer that you would get on example 3 is 1.25 or 5/4. This one is extraneous. So if you graph it, the only one you're going to see is 5/4. All right? Okie dokie, last one. What you've been waiting for. I miss you guys. This is always fun to do in class when we're in the end of the road and we got our examples and our notes and we're done. So our homework over the next few days is just going to be practicing these, okay? So this is our last example for the week. And seniors, it is your last math example for the year. Woo-woo! All right, here we go. 4 over x squared minus 4x minus 5 minus x minus 7 over x plus 1 equals 1 over x squared minus 4x minus 5. Now, there's a couple ways that you guys can do this. If we were to factor this, we would have x and x, we would have minus 5 plus 1. This is obviously going to be the same. So some of you will see that we just need to do this by x plus 5. But if I stay consistent with what I've been doing, I'm going to put the common denominator up there. Why change now? I know some of you will do some of this in your head, but I should see the work shown. Your assignments for the next 2 days are not long, so make sure you're showing your work. Make sure you're getting them submitted. So on this first one, these all cancel, and you're left with 4. On this one, the x plus 1's cancel. Now, this is where it gets tricky on this one, guys. It's minus, and then you're going to FOIL that. So we're going to FOIL it first and then distribute our negative in. Okay, so you got to be careful with the minus sign in between our fractions. Over here, everything cancels, and you're left with 1. So again, it's minus all of this FOILed. Whoops. So we've got 4 x squared minus 7x minus 5x is minus 12x plus 35 equals 1. Now, guys, don't forget this was a minus all that crap. So you got to distribute that negative in. So 4 minus x squared plus 12x minus 35 equals 1. Right now, I'm just going to keep everything over here, and then I'll make it positive in a minute. So I'm going to do x squared plus 12x minus 31 equals 1. Oh, it's negative x squared, my bad. Then we're going to minus the 1 off. I'm going to go back up to the top. Is that okay? Keep in mind, what are the two numbers that we cannot get for x? So they're extraneous. We cannot have a 5, so x cannot equal 5. What else can it not equal? Good, negative 1. So let's go back up top on my handy dandy whiteboard. And we've got negative x squared plus 12x minus 32 equals 0. Okay, we don't want to factor or do any of this junk with a negative x squared. So we're just going to switch all these signs. So that becomes positive, that becomes negative, that becomes positive. Okay? And this actually factors, jumps out at me 8 and 4. X minus 8, x minus 4. So our two answers for example 4 are x equals 8 and x equals 4. And both of those work because it's neither one of those. So that is your answer. That is what your work should look like tomorrow and Thursday, guys. So you are done. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully you don't have too much homework. And I will post your work tomorrow. I miss you guys. Have a great day.